Okaeri, welcome back to my channel, May Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we are doing the next very overdue installment in my Japanese yokai and folklore series. The previous video in the series was about a folklore story, the story of Kintaro. So today we are going back to a yokai video. And today's topic is the Kappa. The kanji for Kappa means river child. Kappa are considered one of the suijin, or river god, river deity in Shintoism, along with a bunch of other yokai and deities. But the Kappa are considered among those number. Kappa are pretty quintessential yokai, but you don't see many stories focusing just on them. Sometimes they do appear in stories or in modern manga or anime, which we will talk about at the end of this video, but most often you just see them mentioned in passing. It's more a yokai that everyone is aware exists, but doesn't usually get the limelight. Kappa are described in almost a turtle-like fashion, like a turtle humanoid, if you want to think of it that way. They can be depicted in a wide range of ways, going from terrifying nightmare monster to adorable little chibi animations. But the few things they'll all have in common are webbed feet, a beaked mouth like that of a turtle, and a bald spot or a plate on the top of their head. Now, as you might imagine, based on the webbed feet, and you'll often see them with a shell as well, or, carapace on their back like a turtle, they are aquatic creatures, so they usually live in water, specifically rivers. But when they leave the water, the plate or the bald spot on their head must be filled with water. And should the water fall out or spill or disappear, the kappa might either die or become frozen depending on the story. Now, as the kappa can be seen as like an old, decrepit man nightmare monster all the way to the cute animated version, so too is the nature of the kappa very flexible. They definitely had a scarier rep in older times. A lot of the original stories of kappa are of them eating children, pulling people's livers out of their asshole and eating it. Very, very pleasant one there. There's even some art pieces that depict them sexually assaulting women. So obviously, based on these worst of the worst stories associated with kappa, they can have a pretty bad rep in some situations. Especially their supposed penchant for drowning and eating children. So you will often see signs all around Japan, usually for like lakes and rivers, that will depict a kappa and warning kids not to go near the water. This is also clearly just a cultural device, such as the boogeyman, to keep children from doing things that are dangerous for them. However, kappa are also known to help humans in certain circumstances. If you treat a kappa with respect or with proper manners, they have to treat you with the same proper respect in return. So there are some stories of when a kappa's water bowl becomes empty, if a human refills it, then that kappa will owe them a favor, or even become, their servant from that moment on. And it's from these stories that we also get the idea that kappa have taught humans how to do bone setting. Apparently, one day a man helped a kappa, and in return, the kappa taught him the medical knowledge of how to set bones and heal bones properly. And from that point on, humanity was able to take this medical knowledge and expand upon it. Now, before we talk about the more modern, cuter version of the kappa, if you were to meet one of the more sinister versions of this river god, how would you protect yourself? How could you defeat it? So I did research this and came up with a couple ideas that are consistent throughout most sources, but I wanted to ask my Japanese friends first what they thought you would do if you ran into a kappa and had to get away. Ironically, none of them gave the answers that I found in most of my sources. So a couple of them said you would break the plate on the head, like smash it with something, or that you could set them on fire, which, okay, I mean, it sounds like a lot of effort. I don't know if fire would defeat water, not really sure about the logic there, but I just thought it was so funny that most people, in day-to-day life don't really know what a lot of the sources like online say. But the official ways to successfully defeat a kappa are, one, to bow to them, and as they're obligated to then return that politeness to you, they will bow and the water will fall out of the dish on their head. Or two, kappa are known for loving cucumbers. No one knows why. No one knows how. And I've asked so many people, and everyone just goes, I don't know. I don't know, they just love them. So there is another technique floating out there that if you carve the name of your family into a cucumber and put it into the river, it will protect you from the kappa going forward. Although some people say that that will make it more likely to eat you, so take from that what you will. It's a gamble. Now, simultaneously moving to more nowadays depictions of kappa and also the cuter version, which is definitely a more modern iteration of this yokai. You can see depictions of kappa around the city as part of the architecture or part of like a design or a decoration. There's one actually in Fukuoka if you walk down the Tenjin Chikagai, which is the underground mall in Tenjin. There is a waterfall underneath. A waterfall? That's very dramatic. A fountain. That's what I'm looking for. A fountain that has a bunch of little tiny cute looking kappa going up the different levels of the fountain, and at the top you have like a little kappa family. So those are definitely cute and used more as decoration. You can also see cute little artistic depictions of them in stationery stores sometimes. I mean, Japanese stationery stores are just out of this world. If you love stationery, this is the country for you. But you can sometimes see them depicted there as well. So we're in a Japanese stationery store. There's nothing more intricate or detailed than Japanese stationery. And they always have seasonal cards, like fantastic seasonal cards. And for those of you who watch my yokai series, I haven't gotten to a lot of these yet. I have one on Kappa coming out soon, but these are a lot of Japanese yokai. And summer is considered the scary season. So it's like a haunted house card. It's so cute. And you can also find them in anime and manga. The one that immediately comes to mind is an anime called Kappa no Kaikata. And it's about how to raise and take care of a kappa. So the main human character is walking past a pet store one day, sees a cute little kappa in the window, and decides to adopt it, to what's the word I'm looking for, to buy it, I guess. Why can't I use words today? And having never owned a kappa before, he kind of learns along the way how to take care of them, and us as the viewer also is learning along with him. I've only seen little clips and screenshots of the anime, but what I have seen is really, really cute and kind of makes you want a kappa. The only other anime that I know of is Natsume no Yojincho, I believe is the name of it. The title literally means Natsume's friend book, and we follow the main character, Natsume, I believe. I've only seen clips of this, but as they go around and gather information on different yokai. And there is a kappa episode part of that manga as well. The last part of this video, I always try to talk about how this yokai has been integrated into daily life. So besides media and manga and anime and on stationery and things, you can see it integrated when it comes to food. You'll remember that I mentioned that kappas love cucumbers, and there's a specific type of makizushi sushi roll that has cucumbers inside, and that is called kappa sushi. I've never seen cucumber roll on a menu. I've always seen it as kappa sushi. However, if you really want to learn about and look into kappa, you should look at Kurume in Kyushu, Japan. Kurume is the location of the Chikugo-gawa, the Chikugo River, and that is considered the birthplace of like the king of the kappa. It's a very fertile region, and there's a lot of irrigation that happens along the river, so it kind of makes sense that Kurume focuses on river deities as some of their main stories. And while I also live in Fukuoka on Kyushu, I haven't heard many of the stories from Kurime, which means that it's more of a local thing rather than a, whole countrywide thing. So let me know in the comments down below if you've heard of Kappa before this video. If you know any other information that wasn't included here, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below, or if you've seen it in any other media, in any other stories. I always love hearing how mythology and folklore and yokai, how they kind of seep into our modern stories today. So if you have any more examples of those, I'd love to hear about them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. I'd love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Ja ne!